got some wires there. So I will walk around.
Thank you. Is that too loud? That's good? All right. Good morning, everybody. Or rather, see, I do that every time. What is it? It's good afternoon. Sorry about that. So, we've been going over quite a few different topics. And so I wanted to explain to you, now this isn't an exhaustive list of God's attributes, meaning things that we know about God or characteristics of God or things, revelations, ideas about Him that are known, that can be known by us through His own self-revelation. And so this is by no means exhaustive, and I get the list from A.W. Tozer's Knowledge of the Holy, one of my favorite books. If you ever get a chance to read it, I recommend it. Out of the hundreds of books I've read, that's one of my favorites. I should probably read it at least once a year. I don't really know how many times I have read it, but not enough. And it doesn't replace Scripture by any means, but it is an outstanding book. Pretty much any book from A.W. Tozer is good. So God is self-existent. What does that mean? So, well, first I want to explain what these prefixes mean. So, pan, whenever you see a word that starts with pan, P-A-N, it's the Greek prefix for all. In other words, all-inclusive, right? Same thing with omni. Omni is the Latin for all, so it's all-inclusive. Whenever you see both of these if you see either one of them at the beginning of a word, it's good for us to know what that means, because it tells us something about what the word means. And then trans is Latin for across, beyond, or on the other side, right? And the reason I want to explain these words is because some of these prefixes are going to be included in some of the words that we're going to learn today, or some of the things about the Lord that we're going to learn today. And again, this is a very pitiful, on my part, a very pitiful attempt to try to explain to you the ineffable majesty on high, because He is. If I were able to comprehensively articulate Him, then that would mean that my tongue or my mind were greater to or equal than God, and then we wouldn't be speaking of God anymore. So, so God is self-existent, meaning He has no cause. Nothing caused God to exist. He has always existed and always will. He is outside of time and space. He suffers no change from it. And he doesn't. He's not limited to, like our linear idea of time is this limits our experience by the succession of moments that we experience. So, hi, good morning, or good afternoon. Hi. So God is self-existent, meaning, like I said, He is the uncaused cause of all things. He has no beginning and no end. He's eternal. And we'll get to that later. Self-sufficiency, meaning God doesn't create out of a need. He's self-sufficient. He has no needs. A lot of times the Christ that they paint, the picture of Christ in the modern church today is a God that's wanting something from us, or that we're needing our help or something. God has no needs whatsoever. He is self-sufficient. He is infinite. And as soon as I go through this list and give you an idea of what they mean, then I'm going to go and try to explain them a little better. So He's infinite. He has infinitude, meaning the best way I've heard that described is everything in creation is contingent upon another thing in creation. And all things are contingent or dependent upon God for their existence, their sustenance, their sustaining. Remember, God is outside of his creation, but not excluded. He's above his creation, but not pressed up. He's beneath his creation, but not held down. He's inside his creation, but not contained. He is above reigning, beneath sustaining, outside containing, inside eminent. Eminent meaning, eminent is like right now, or it's kind of has to do with a time and space. And see, these are difficult things that when we try to describe God, it's very difficult because he's undescribable, inscrutable, incomprehensible, unfathomable. So immutability. What this means is infinitude means it means infinite, meaning he's not finite, meaning he doesn't have any limits or boundaries or there's no limit to him. He does do things for his own glory and to display his own power. If I didn't worship him, it wouldn't change the fact that he is worthy of all worship. If you shut your eyes and say there is no sun, that doesn't make the sun disappear. The sun's still there. It's just I've decided to be an ostrich at that moment and stick my head in the sand. So omniscience, and the reason I separate these are actually one word in the English, but I separate them so you can see the omniscience, all science. There's a thing in biology called taxonomy, not taxidermy, but taxonomy, meaning we categorize things and we measure them and we put limits. I mean, we measure the limits between 2 points in space. We measure the weight of things by the gravitational pull, right? And so none of these, and then we have, of course, the age of things. You know, how old is it? How long has it been around? So none of these apply to God. None of these limits apply to God. He's got infinitude. So, but omniscience, meaning he knows all things without effort immediately. He lives in a constant, eternal now. For him, all things that have happened, all things that are going to happen, have already happened. That's why Scripture is prophetic in content, meaning it speaks of future events. Only God could do that, because for him, everything that's ever happened, or everything that will happen, has already happened. And so, remember, he's outside of time and space and suffers no change. So he's immutable, meaning he cannot change. If we're God to mutate, we're not going to be sitting over there. Thank you. Were God to mutate, in other words, if God were to change, he would have to go from perfect to more than perfect, or from perfect to less than perfect. But being perfect, he can do neither. So he's immutable. He cannot change, which is a great thing to know about God. God does do things according to his own self-imposed obligations. He has chosen to redeem a fallen race like ourselves, humanity. He has chosen. He didn't need to. He didn't have to. He had no moral obligation to do so. But he has chosen to redeem us. And this is what history is the history is the redemptive process of God. The redemptive, it shows us the redemptive nature of God. He desires to redeem us for his own glory. And out of his own mercy and grace and gentleness and tenderness and kindness and forbearance, his own goodness. So wisdom is, we all know what wisdom is. It's the application of knowledge, and we gain it. We're supposed to gain it as we get older. So, but God has all wisdom. He has all knowledge. He knows all people, all thoughts, all words that are going to come out of our mouths before we say them. He knows all of our thoughts before we think them. He knows all people, all emotions, all personalities. He knows everything about everything instantly without any effort. He's omniscient. So, incomprehensible, which is what I'm trying to do is to comprehend him and try to help you guys comprehend him. So we're trying to do the impossible. We're trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. What that means is that we cannot comprehensively comprehend him. In other words, I cannot know everything about him. God could only explain himself to an equal in his entirety, meaning he cannot explain himself to anybody because he has no equals. God is transcendent. So here we go to this word here, trans, meaning across, beyond, or on the other side. So transcendent